Hey everyone, and welcome back to day 3 of our Global Summit. We hope that you are learning so much in these 3 days, and we're really grateful to have you back to kickstart our first session of the day with Sasha Tarasova. And Sasha's going to be taking us through how our past influences our reality. Sasha, thank you so much for stepping forward. I'm really looking forward to what you have to share with us today and looking forward to your session. So I'm going to hand you the floor, and I'm looking forward to learning from you today.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for introducing me and thank you for organizing this amazing summit. There's a lot of value there, amazing speakers, and I'm very happy to be here. And before we dive in, let me see if the comments are showing up. I would like to know, while people are still connecting, let me know where you're tuning in from, where you're watching from. Hi, Priya. Hi, everyone. I'm tuning in from Zurich, Switzerland, which is in Europe. And today is not the sunniest day ever. All right. And while you're telling me where you're from, I want to briefly introduce myself. So my name is Sasha. I am a transformational life coach and NLP practitioner. And I want to tell you a little bit about my story and how I ended up doing what I'm doing. So a few years ago, I was suffering from a depression. And initially, it was a mild one. And because I was not aware what depression really is, what the symptoms are, I didn't really pay attention to it and I didn't take care of myself. So eventually, my depression got worse, right? And around the age of 25, I found myself living a pretty good damn life. I was married, I was living in Dubai next to the beach, I had a job that was paying me well, I was partying every weekend, and I was traveling all the time. But deep inside, I was miserable, absolutely miserable and unhappy because I wasn't happy with what I had. I was not living the life that I wanted. I was living the life that was instructed to me by my parents, by society, by other people. And I was a huge people pleaser as well. I would basically take care of everybody else's needs except my own and completely ignore what I wanted to do with my life, with my time. And as a result, eventually, I started becoming this person that wasn't really myself. I started disconnecting from myself and I became this shell of a person that I really didn't like very much. And as my depression was getting worse, I developed an eating disorder, I developed insomnia, I started really hating myself. At some point, I was having difficulties communicating with people and expressing myself properly. I was really negative, I was complaining all the time. And at some point, I started thinking that I don't really want to live my life like this anymore. And I was thinking about ending it. Thankfully, I did not do that. And I decided to completely change things around. So I moved multiple times, cities and countries and even continents. I left my old relationship, I changed my jobs, but eventually I realized that the main problem is here. So I started going very deep into personal development, and this is also when I found spirituality. Good morning. And this is basically what saved me. This is what got me out of my depression. And the more I was working on myself, the more I was aligning with myself and my values. And within 2 years, I started feeling better. I started feeling like I love myself again. However, my moods were still swinging, going up and down. I was still getting triggered by a lot of things. I was still not confident, and I was still working a job I really didn't like. And I was still dealing with toxic people until I got fired, which was actually a blessing in disguise. And this is where I really started thinking, okay, what can I do with my life? What do I like? What is my passion? What do I really want to do? And this is how coaching came into the picture because I realized I always enjoyed helping people and listening to my friends and being the friend that is there to listen and give advice and stuff like that. So then I discovered that I could do coaching because it's basically doing that and getting paid for it, right? And having fun and making an impact. So that was great. But it took me many years to find my purpose. And it took me a lot of time to be able to battle my fears and my insecurities in order to get to where I am today. And a lot of that has to do with my subconscious programming. I had a lot of limiting beliefs that I was working through. And especially when I started going into entrepreneurship and running my own business, so many things came up. So many past traumas and fears and things came up that I had to deal with. I had to take time off and I actually had to hire a coach and go through this program that really helped me shift my mindset and release a lot of those fears. And this is how I am here today. I'm pretty sure without that program, I would still not be where I am today. It would still take me longer. And so this is what I want to share with you today. How exactly I did that, how this whole process of forming limiting beliefs happens, how our past affects our reality today and essentially our future, and how you can eventually change all of that. So I see you have the USA, Nepal, India, from all over the world. That's amazing. South Africa. Wow, really lots of people. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen now with my presentation. Here we are. So, how a past influences our reality. Let's go. So, in today's presentation, you will learn how we form beliefs and how they influence our life. You will discover how to become aware of all of these beliefs and all of the emotions that are potentially blocking you from achieving what you want. You will find ways to change all of that programming. Well, about me, I already told you my story. I am a depression survivor, and now, thankfully, I'm also a thriver, NLP practitioner, personal spiritual growth junkie. So, living a life of passion and purpose, what does it look like? In my experience, and it took me quite a few years to finally discover what it is that I'm really passionate about, that I can actually turn into a purpose. And the 3 steps in my experience were first self-knowledge. So knowing who you are, knowing what you want, knowing what you stand for, your values, and essentially getting your mission and your vision. The next step is working with your mindset and doing inner healing. And this is a very, very important step, and soon you will find out why it's such an important step, because if you don't heal your past traumas and limiting beliefs, they might block you from achieving success. And then, of course, the environment. You need to set up the environment for success, because if you're surrounded by toxic people or judging people, it will be very hard to move forward. And I know that from experience as well. So let me ask you, what is blocking you from living the life you desire right now? Let me have a look if you have comments. So what is blocking you from having the life that you desire right now? Do you know what is it? Limiting belief, exactly. Finances, yes. Finances is a very big block. But there is something that blocks our finances from coming in as well. Limiting beliefs. See, you guys got it. You guys know already. I can just close this presentation and go home. Somebody said nothing. That's awesome. That's great. That is great. Happy to hear that. Okay, I'm going back to my screen. Past issues. That's a good one. So basically, our past, fear, limiting beliefs, in summary, ourselves. The only thing that stops us from living the life we desire is ourselves, right? And I work with neuro-linguistic programming in my coaching, and this is exactly what made the biggest shift for me in my life. And I want to quickly introduce to you what it means, neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. Neuro refers to the nervous system, which is the mind, through which we experience everything through the five senses. Linguistic refers to language, as well as nonverbal communication. And programming refers to the patterns in our neurological systems. So basically, this is how our limiting beliefs and values and everything that we experience, they create this programming in our mind. And NLP uses the language of the mind to reprogram this internal wiring. So, how does it all work? So the conscious, obviously everybody knows, or a lot of people are aware that we have conscious mind and we have subconscious mind. And the conscious mind only takes up 5% of all brain activity. It's active during waking states. It's analytical, logical, sequential, and it controls thinking. The subconscious mind, however, is this wonderful, mysterious thing that takes up 95% of our brain activity. And its main function is to preserve the body. So it runs the body. It's responsible for things like pumping blood pressure, breath, cell regeneration, all of those things that we don't do consciously. But one of the main functions is to preserve the body. So if at any given point the subconscious mind decides that there's some external event that is a threat to us, it might switch on the fight, flight, or freeze response, which you've probably heard about. And if that happens, the conscious mind doesn't have a lot of power over that. The subconscious mind is much more powerful in these terms. So doing things like opening a new business when you've never done that before is something new and super scary. So if the subconscious mind decides that, okay, this is a threat, it might be a little bit challenging to overcome the fears that are going to pop up to try and block you from going forward, from going into the unfamiliar. Subconscious mind is also intuitive and emotional. It communicates to us through images and symbols. It takes everything personally. Keep that in mind. And it stores beliefs, values, habits, memories, anything that ever happened to you, all your experience, it's all in there. So it's like a huge hard drive. So what happens? How do all these beliefs form? So as you can see, we have the external event. So something happens outside. This information then goes first into our conscious mind, and our brain is not capable of processing all of the information that comes in at all of the times. So it's going to filter some of it, it's going to delete some of it, it's going to generalize some of it, and it's going to change some of it. And the filters are formed by our experiences, by things that happen to us, by what we learn from our environment, from our parents, things like that. So we walk around with these filters that are already in our mind, and this is how we perceive the world. And any given event is neutral. There are no good events, there are no bad events, they're all neutral. But as they go through our filters, we then label them good or bad. And then we form internal representations, which is basically beliefs. We form thoughts and beliefs about this event. And then we also experience an emotion, emotional state, and also a feeling in our body. And then all of these subconscious factors here then influence our behavior. So let me give you an example. So, for example, you're a teenager and you're dating, and then your date breaks up with you. So the external event, someone is breaking up with you. And then it goes through your filters, and you form a belief, I'm not good enough, for example. And then this belief will give you an emotional state of sadness and hurt and maybe shame. And on the physiological level, you will probably feel tired, lack of energy, and down and depressed. So all of these combined might influence your behavior as to avoid relationships in the future. And if these kind of things happen multiple times, like either you get dumped, or maybe your friend betrays you, or your girlfriend cheats on you. So if too many events like that happen to you, you might form a very solid belief that, okay, all men are bad or all women are bad, and then you might avoid relationships altogether. as a result. Or you might engage in relationships, but you will subconsciously sabotage it. Because deep inside you think that all men are bad, or I'm not good enough, or anything like that. Now, while all of this is happening, we also have our emotions that are running through our nervous system. And emotions are perceptions of thoughts that we associate with feelings. So, do you notice how if you start thinking positive thoughts, you start feeling nice and good and relaxed and maybe happy, energetic? But if you start thinking negative thoughts and criticizing yourself or complaining, you start actually feeling negative. You might feel stressed, anxious, depressed, sad. So, it's really the reaction of our body to our thoughts. An emotion is an energy in motion. And what that means is that emotions are running through our body. And it's very important to release these emotions and let them go through the body and let them out. Unfortunately, the majority of us have learned that we should repress emotion, that we should not let emotions out. You know, when you're small and you're crying and you want attention, how many times have we been told to shut up and stop crying? I don't know about you, but I've been told many times to basically stop being a baby and grow up and stop crying. And this is like the worst thing you can do, because repressed emotions, after they get collected over a period of time, they literally become like a baggage. And you're carrying them around with you at all times in your nervous system. And these emotions can get stuck in a particular point in your body. And if it's a very strong emotion, it can accumulate over time and eventually cause sickness. And biology today already proved that 95% of sicknesses are caused by emotions and stress. And again, if emotions are not attended, they might turn into limiting beliefs and might turn into stories that we then tell ourselves and believe them, not necessarily if it's true. And you see a little compass here, it's for a reason. It's because emotions are basically like our guiding compass. They're letting us know if something is off. So if you're feeling some negative emotion, it means something is out of alignment. Something either external or internal is out of alignment with you, with your inner being. So emotions are like data, really. You collect the data, you analyze the data, you learn the lesson, you say, okay, and you let it go. That's the ideal scenario for dealing with our emotions. So how do emotions get stuck in our nervous system? So we experience an event through our senses. For example, a small kid sees a dog, a big dog, and this big dog starts barking. So a small boy gets scared. So the next scene, he gets a feeling, and the feeling is fear. Because of that feeling, he makes a judgment and a meaning that dogs are good, dogs are bad, dogs are scary, dogs are unsafe. And because it's such a strong emotion, there's an energetic impulse and release of stress chemicals in the brain, and then the brain will associate this thought, so unsafe and scary, with this feeling and with this experience. Basically, if that child has a bad experience with a dog and gets really scared of the dog, then probably for the rest of his life, he will be afraid of dogs. And the more similar events with similar feelings you experience, the more likely you are to label it something. For example, dogs are scary, or all men are bad, or all women are bad, whatever. And once it's labeled and you give a meaning to it, this is how a limiting belief is formed. And a limiting belief is nothing more than a repeated thought over and over and over again until you decide that this is the truth, even though it might not be the truth, but you have decided this is the truth, this is how it is now. So based on information that we just saw, who runs the show in our current reality? Unconscious decisions and limiting beliefs that form together our subconscious programming. And this subconscious programming has been forming in you for the past whatever number of years that you're living. and it's been accumulated over your entire life. So all of those past traumas, all of those past emotions, all of those past decisions, they all form your subconscious programming. And of course, it's the subconscious that runs the show. And it naturally looks for patterns and experience that validate our beliefs. Remember how we have those filters in one of the first diagrams? So we see the world through those filters. So if in our filter we have a belief that says the world is unfriendly, then you will see the world is unfriendly and you will probably focus more on the negative things. But if you, on the other hand, you believe that the world is friendly and everyone is nice and everything is fine, you will probably focus more on the positive aspects of your life. And similarly, we attract and create people and situations that align with our beliefs. And this is how we create our reality. And this is a really good image. It's a Hawkins scale of consciousness that represents different emotions and their vibrational frequency. And you're probably familiar with law of attraction, which says like attracts like. And there's also the law of resonance, which says you attract what you are, not what you want. So this is how a lot of people who are trying to manifest things, they're not getting any results. And this is why. If you're trying to manifest love, for example, which is vibration frequency of 500, but in your unconscious mind, deep inside, you have fear about entering a relationship or guilt around the relationships or perhaps shame for whatever reason, then you can see that if you're vibrating here at the bottom, it's going to be very hard to attract something over here. And it's the same with anything in life, not just relationships. That was just an example. And that is why it is so, so important to do this work, to do this subconscious clearing work and release the emotions that are holding you down. And I will show you later how you can do that. So how do we deal with all of this? Well, first and foremost, self-knowledge is becoming aware of your subconscious programming. And because if we don't know what's going on, we don't know what we need to change, right? And my favorite tools for that, and I think everybody in the world should be doing that, is meditation and journaling. Literally everybody should do that. That is my opinion. These are the best free tools that you can use every day for improving your self-awareness and for becoming aware of your limiting beliefs and anything subconscious. Meditation, you don't have to do it, like it doesn't have to be every day 20 minutes of sitting still and being zen. It doesn't have to be, it can be just 3 minutes per day or 5 minutes per day. And journaling, the same thing. You don't have to do it every day, but consistency is what's important. And journaling is beautiful because it helps you clear your mind, it helps you organize your thoughts, and it gets all the subconscious stuff out of you as well. So this is brilliant. Another way of becoming aware is therapy, which I personally have gone to only 3 therapy sessions, and I felt I had to relieve my experiences and my emotions, and I really hated it, and I never went back. So that was my experience with therapy. But I know people who are really having great success with it, and I know that therapy can definitely help you figure out what is going in the subconscious. And then, of course, there's NLP, which is all about dealing with the subconscious programming. And this is what my emotional freedom program is based on, which I will talk about a little bit later. Changing your subconscious programming. Now, how the hell do we change it now? Now that we have discovered it, or some of it, how can we begin to change what's deep inside of us? So mindset work, healing work, shadow work, meditation, affirmations, those are all great tools. Healing could include anything from meditation to energy work to Reiki to any other modality that you can think of. It could also be frequency healing. And shadow work is really great. I definitely recommend everybody to do shadow work, very powerful. And all of these tools are really nice and they're very, very good. The only thing is they take quite a long time to start seeing results. And most of the time, especially the healing and the shadow work, they focus on one specific event or one specific situation or one specific person at a time. And affirmations, be careful with affirmations because you have to do them for a really long time, at least 2 months minimum, in order to start seeing some shifts in your thinking. And once again, what I will talk about later, what I offer is doing all of that, changing your subconscious programming, but doing in a shorter time, using modalities like NLP, EFT, meditation, and of course, coaching. And my program is only 12 weeks, and it tackles negative emotions, limiting beliefs, and it definitely removes any of the core roots that are causing most of the stress. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my program now. So it's a one-on-one 12-week coaching program that is tailored to your needs, as everybody is unique. Everybody has their own issues. So it's a very personalized program where we work directly with the subconscious to make changes on a deeper level. And it's got 3 modules. First, identify, release, and envision, which correspond with one of my first slides for finding your passion and purpose, self-knowledge, mindset, healing, and environment. So module 1 goes through a proven step-by-step process where we uncover everything that I've talked about, the subconscious programming. We discover where everything comes from. We uncover the original event where everything begins. And then once we have all this information, then we can release all of that, everything that we uncovered. We definitely remove the root cause that is causing the majority of other limiting beliefs. We rewrite limiting belief, we let go of traumas, and we forgive self and others. And in module 3, we first identify your goals. Now that we have cleared out all the emotional baggage and all the junk from the subconscious mind, and now that we can focus clearly, we identify the goals, we create an action plan, upgrade skills, optimize the environment, and work on creating empowering habits. So because it's a deep subconscious reprogramming, and like I said, our subconscious programming affects how we behave and show up in life. It affects how we see ourselves in life and what we do. So once we change that, it of course is going to affect other areas of our life, and it's going to affect how we feel and how we perceive ourselves and life. So some of the before and after results. So if you're currently suffering from, low self-worth, low self-esteem, negative thinking, or can't control emotions, maybe you're very, very vulnerable and sensitive, maybe you're in a toxic relationship, feeling stuck and frustrated, and maybe you're already trying to make some changes, but with not amazing results at the moment. And I've been there. I've had all of those. And I've definitely been in that place where I tried to change things externally, but after a month or so, I would go back to my original behavior and I would sabotage everything again. Because internally, I didn't do the work internally. But once you do the work internally, you will start feeling worthy and confident and happy and joyful. You will find inner peace. You will be able to control your emotions. You will deepen your connections. You will find clarity and focus and motivation to achieve your goals. And the most, I find one of the best bonuses is that changes start happening automatically. So when I did this, I did all of these things. I went through the same program with my coach initially. And I started noticing changes after finishing. I started noticing that I started eating better. I started exercising because I want to, not because I have to. My relationships got better. Toxic people kind of disappeared from my life. I was able to hold my boundaries much better. I started feeling better in general. And these days, my mood doesn't really fluctuate that much. And nothing really triggers me anymore. Like the only thing that can make me go crazy is my own thoughts. External situations very rarely trigger me these days. And these are just some of the clients' results that I want to quickly share. And my clients, they kind of came to me with similar problem where they had low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and couldn't control their emotions. And they got quite different results. So somebody had better relationship with their husband, somebody feels more empowered and just got a better job. Somebody was able to finally open up and talk about like the most deepest secrets that they had. Somebody went from feeling devastated and burnt out to actually being able to see hope again and want to work on themselves again and like their life again. So these are some of the testimonials. Because it's a one-on-one program, of course, there's a limited space. I only have that much time in my life. So if you would like to know more about the program, please comment freedom below this video and maybe also below the replay video, or you can also send me a direct message on Facebook or Instagram. Actually, I use Instagram as my main point of interaction. So Instagram has all the links. It also has the link for my website where you can read all the information about the program. And I decided to add a little bonus for participants of the summit because it's a passion and purpose summit. I want to add also a complimentary workshop on diving deep into your passion and purpose. And I have spent quite a few years looking for my passion. I've done dozens of exercises and workshops and things. So I want to share some of the best ones that I found helped me the most in this workshop. So as a summary, you get a 12-week one-on-one coaching program that can be extended. You get a complete reprogramming of your subconscious mind and the passion and purpose workshop. So a reminder how to apply. You can comment freedom below this video. You can send me a direct message here on Facebook or on Instagram. Or you can follow me on Instagram, and I know it's quite a hard word to type, Conscious Sapiens. Conscious Sapiens is my brand that basically represents a new, upgraded type of humanity. I truly believe that if everybody worked on themselves and their personal development, we would live in a much better place. So I want Homo sapiens to upgrade and become a more conscious sapiens. And that is basically my mission. Help humanity upgrade in consciousness, one person at a time. So whether you think you can or you can't, you're right, which is a famous quote by Tom Ford. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop sharing now. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them now. Let me see the comments because I did not see the comments during the presentation. So I would love to read your comments. Ooh, so many. Love it. Positive thoughts equals happiness. True, on one hand, it's true. Yes, positive thoughts do bring us happiness, but be careful with being positive all the time. A lot of people try to focus on just the positive and ignore anything that comes up that is negative. That is not a healthy way to approach life. Whatever comes up, any emotion that comes up, like I said, it's data, it's your guiding system. You need to be able to let it in. You need to be able to understand, okay, what is it here to show me? And once you learn the lesson, it's super easy to let it go and it's gone and that's it. It doesn't come back. But ignoring anything negative is really not a healthy way to approach life. We need to feel, exactly, we need to feel everything. Thank you. don't let your mind or your past beliefs control you. Yes, yes. Especially if you're aware, like once you get the awareness of your past beliefs, it becomes so much easier to spot them, in your conscious reality. Because if you're not aware, you don't even know that it's happening. But once you become aware, then something happens. You're like, wait a minute, this is probably because of this belief, or this is probably because of this emotion. Or if you get triggered by something really insignificant, like you, for example, get angry for something really, really small, then you can step back and be like, okay, I have this anger. Why am I getting triggered? Where is this anger coming from? And it's probably like an old past situation that just comes up because something reminding you of that past situation. We start to believe what we think to ourselves. Exactly like the Tom Ford quote. Yeah. Yes, we manifest what we think and not what we want. Exactly. Wow, guys, yours. I love the comments. Being consistent is crucial. Yes, thank you. I think connecting to nature and reflecting back on the grudges we are going through also helps to program our subconscious mind. Nature is the best healer for sure. Just going into nature and being alone, meditating, journaling in nature is like one of the best things you can do for yourself. Definitely. Really feeling empowered. Yay! Grounding in the nature once a week. Yes, that is great. I love that. I agree 100%. Need to focus on the positive, but not ignore negative. I agree. Yes, thank you guys for agreeing. And so, if do you have any more? Do you have any questions? Laughter is great. Definitely. Thank you for sharing my Instagram handle in the comments. You can find it there now. There has to be a little underscore though between conscious and sapiens. So if there are no more questions, I am going to end this live. Before I end this live, let me know, guys, what is your biggest takeaway from today's presentation? So let me know, what was your main insight? Did you learn something new? Or maybe you got reminded of something that was important for you? And unfortunately, I can't see most of your names because we're using StreamYard. So it's all Facebook users. Sorry, I can't address you by name. Yes, that is the correct handle now, at Conscious Sapiens with the underscore. All right, if there are no more comments, I'm going to end this live. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, I got a comment. Reinforcing my personal journey. Yes, that's a great one. It is so important to know ourselves. It is so important to do the deep work, because if we don't know ourselves, a lot of the times we try to chase somebody else's dreams and chase whatever standards that the society has imposed onto us. And then we get there and then we're like, okay, now what? I hate it. So before we start going after something, we need to first figure out who the hell we are and what do we want and what our values are. Very important. This session helped me a lot today. Thank you for me. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you. You're most welcome. Stay positive, do work from within, clear limiting, yes, clear limiting beliefs. I have witnessed Paula's use of NLP and see how it works. All right. Awesome. It helped me how I should allow the negative thoughts in and see what they want to tell. Yes. Negative thoughts might not necessarily come from the subconscious mind. Those could come from the conscious mind. It's actually more important to pay attention to our emotions and really figure out, what is this emotion here to tell me? Every emotion is a teacher. It's really coming to tell us something. If it's a good emotion, it's telling us, you're on the right track, you're doing good. But if it's a negative emotion, it basically says something is out of alignment, something's off. Maybe like my boundaries are being broken here, or maybe like I'm being disrespected over here, or you never know what it is. But the more you try to understand your emotions, the better you get at it. And eventually you will come to a point where you feel an emotion rising, you're like, what is this? Okay, it comes from that. And then you can immediately act to change it. We need to honor our story. Yes, for sure. Yes, we need to honor our story. We need to honor ourselves, but we do not need to let our story define us. We can always change our story anytime. Absolutely possible. I'm living proof that it's possible. Though we have had some past issues, still we can reinforce our subconscious mind and ultimately reinforce our life. Yes, exactly. Great. That's a great summary. Thank you, Sabina. And day by day, being positive towards the situation brings more of the good or more of the positivity. Yes. Yes, we attract what we are, right? How do we judge whether the emotion is good or bad? It's not really good or bad. In the sense, it's more if it's like feeling good emotion or if it's like feeling not so good emotion. And you judge it by how you feel, really. You just tune in and you say like, this doesn't feel right. Maybe you listen to your body, like, do I feel tense? Do I maybe feel a little bit like not so good? Or if you feel amazing, if you feel your heart opening, if you feel light and breezy, you literally just have to pay attention. It's really how you feel in your heart and in your body. I am not defined by my past. Yes. Nice. We can always change our story. It is our choice to do so. Yes, we always have a choice. Always. First, become aware. And once you're aware, you are empowered to make a choice. Yes. You guys are awesome. I love this. Past has already gone. Yes. We still have an amazing life ahead, so we can be aware of our thoughts. Yes. These comments are great. Oh, guys, so many amazing insights. Yeah, the past has already gone. It's gone. We can't change anything about it. And we always have a choice. Live from the past and let our past dictate our future. Or decide, okay, today I'm going to stop it. I'm going to take control and take responsibility for myself, for my life, and for my future, and consciously change it. Exactly. We can always change our story. I love it. All right, so no more comments coming in. This has been great. Thank you so much for attending and enjoy the rest of the summit. Have an awesome day or evening or night ahead of you. Thank you. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And I would be happy to connect on Instagram or Facebook. And I will see you in the group, guys. Anyway, I'm in the group. We're all in the group. Paul, believe in whatever you feel and trust the process. Yes. All right.
Hey Sasha, I just want to say thank you so much for an absolutely wonderful session. It was absolutely fantastic. Lots of engagements you can see coming in, lots of wisdom shared, lots of and a really inspiring story from your end as well, which was really amazing. So thank you so much for that. Please do follow Sasha on Instagram, conscious_sapiens. You can find it in the link. So please follow Sasha there. And make them a program as well. So thank you so much, Sasha. Thank you everybody who's tuned in to watch and engage with Sasha and make this an amazing session. Thank you everybody. And we now have a session in 10 minutes with Joan Swart, where she's going to be talking about the difference between therapy and coaching. So you can find the link in our pod and in the Facebook events. You do have to register through her webinar, but you can connect with Joan on how to navigate through therapy and coaching. So thank you everybody. Thank you, Sasha. It's been a really great session, and I look forward to connecting with you further in the group. Thank you.
Bye.